Are you ready to learn about male and female in Hebrew? Hebrew is a gender-based language, and we're going to learn how to start understanding and approaching this crazy subject. Let's go. So, hi, first of all, if you don't know me, my name is Noah. I live in Tel Aviv. I teach Hebrew, and this is actually an episode in my podcast. I already have 4 episodes that I've done, but this is the first one that I'm also filming. So you can either listen to it on Spotify or watch it on YouTube, whatever you want. And I would love for you to like this video and rate the podcast and share it so others can learn just like you. Okay, so today I want to talk about male and female. And this is a challenging subject for all Hebrew learners. Hebrew is really gender-based. Of course, there are other languages, and of course there are female and male in other languages, but Hebrew actually that has female and male for everything. For people, obviously, pronouns, everything, animals, objects, weather, like everything. Everything has a female or male in it. And even something simple like you, right? If I just want to say, are you okay? I can say it to a male, female, a group, singular. In Hebrew, it becomes at for you, singular female, ata for you, singular male, atem for plural male, and aten for plural female. So one word, we use it differently. So no doubt it's a bit challenging. And today I want to talk about the basics, just starting to understand and also give you tools in order to practice it yourself. There are some rules, there are exceptions, but we are going to learn the rules. And you'll see that by the end of this video, you will understand the subject so much better, and you will know how to also practice it because, again, when we're talking about languages, we have to practice, we have to use, we have to listen, to talk, but you'll know how to do it and you'll understand it much better. I always say I'm not a native English speaker, as you can probably hear, so my apologies for any mistakes that I'm going to make in English, but I teach Hebrew, and the most important thing is for us to understand each other and for me to be able to teach you. So that's the whole point. The way I like to explain things is I'm just looking at the song while I'm recording. Again, I like everything to be structured. The way that I like to teach everything, every subject, is either through humor, a fun game, an exercise, a cool exercise, maybe something to do with simulations and theater, and also music. I love music. This whole podcast is about music. I teach through music. I think it's a great way to understand the principle and to listen to it again and again. If we're talking about repetition, then it can get boring to repeat something over and over again. But if it's a song, then we love it, right? You know that song that you love so much and you hear it over and over and over a million times a day. It doesn't get bored until it does, but we don't need to listen to something a million times. We can listen to it. We can just listen to it when we're driving, when we're walking. These are things that you can incorporate in your daily life so easily once you understand the principle that I'm going to teach you today. So first of all, the song is called Verak Ani Merov Ahava Shotek, and I'm the only one that from so much love keeps silent. I'm trying to translate it. Sounds weird in English, but in Hebrew it's very beautiful. Verak Ani, only me, just me. Merov Ahava, from so much love. Ahava is love. Shotek, shut up or keep silent, depending on it works for both in Hebrew. So this is the name of the song, and the people who wrote it, the lyrics are by Yossi Banai, And the music, the melody is by Mati Kaspi, two great artists here in Israel. So if you're watching me on YouTube, then you can download the words and you can see them right here. If you're listening to me on Spotify, you can also download the lyrics and also search them, ורק אני מרוב אהבה שותק, מילים, lyrics, and you can get them. And before we even talk about the song, we're going to talk about a little bit about how can we recognize male and female. Sorry. So, first of all, when we have the ending of a or the ending of taf, t. So it's either ending, the sound is a, and we'll see hey, the letter hey, or the ending is t, in it or at or at, whatever, but it's the letter tav. Okay, so he, tav. This is something that we can relate to female. And if you're saying to yourself, what do you mean at the end of the word we have an ending for female? You have it in English, right? So let's say prince is for male and princess, the ending ses, is for female, right? So we have it even in English, not for everything, but we do have it. Waiter and waitress. So there are things that a pattern that you can see when going between male and female, and it's exactly in Hebrew, it's exactly the same. And we'll see it a lot with with he at the end and the sound of and t. Okay, the male form will be a bit shorter. Okay, so we are going to learn the lyrics of the song. Before we start understanding how to practice, what are some rules of thumb, and how to really understand it. But I just wanted to start off with, even now when we're talking about, we're going to read and understand and translate the song, and we want to also learn vocabulary along the way, because we can learn a principle in grammar, but also new words, vocabulary, which is, I think it comes together, right? So before, I just wanted to explain the endings. You can probably hear them while I read in Hebrew. I will read a line in Hebrew and then translate it into English. And then you can already start picking up the or the t, as opposed to the male form, which is shorter. Okay? So I am going to also read it. So the lyrics of the song. כשההוא ohev et hahi. When the he loves the her, who is he, and he is she or her. I know it's a bit confusing. When I learned English, it was exactly the same thing. I needed to understand that he is a man and not a female, because in Hebrew, he is she or her. So it's a bit confusing, but once you say it a few times, you know it. So, כשההוא ohev et hahi, תמיד הוא אומר לה. He always tells her. תמיד, always. חוזר ואומר לה. Repeats. חוזר is to go back, goes back, and also repeats something. So חוזר ואומר לה, repeats and say it again. כמה היא אלוהית. כמה היא אלוהית. How divine she is. Yeah, Elohim is God, Elohim, and Elohi or Elohit is divine. You can see that the t here, right, is for female. כשענן אוהב עננה, the sound of when a cloud, ענן is a cloud, loves, אוהב עננה. So עננה is actually a word. It means a group of clouds, and also when we feel bad, we can say אני מרגישה מעין עננה. I feel kind of like cloudy, maybe. In English, it will be kind of the same. But here in the song, he uses it as the female of the cloud. So the cloud doesn't have male and female, like doesn't have a spouse, right? But that's how he uses it. So it's not just a word that actually has a meaning, but also anan is male and anana is female for the song. Again, anana is not the female of cloud. It has a different meaning, but it sounds, it's a group of clouds, and he kind of paired them as a pair, anan and anana. כשענן אוהב עננה, תמיד הוא אומר לה, he always tells her, like before, חוזר ואומר לה, repeats and tell her, כמה את עדינה. כמה את עדינה. How delicate you are. עדין is delicate. עדין, עדינה. So עדין for male and עדינה, the sound of for female. ורק אני מרוב האהבה שותק. That's the chorus. And I'm the only one that from so much love keeps silent. Like they're all telling their spouse how divine she is, how delicate she is, and he can't speak. That's what he's talking about. From that so much love, from all this love, I'm the only one that can't tell you what I want to tell you. I keep silent. ורק אני מרוב אהבה שותק, and he repeats it 4 times. כשהזבוב אוהב תזבובית. When the fly, זבוב, כש is when, by the way, when it's not a question. Okay, when I say when I was, I say כש. And it's not a word, it connects to the word. It's 2 letters. So כשהזבוב, זבוב is fly, אוהב, loves, תזבובית. Ta, when we hear it in songs, it means את ה. Okay, את ה. זבובית. We don't say zvuvit for female fly, but he created a friend, a female friend to the fly. So we don't say zvuvit, but he uses it. And when he tries to change it, when he wants to change it for the song, because it's kind of cute and adorable and funny in a way, and he knows that he does it, then he uses the it, the t, the tav for female. כשהזבוב אוהב את הזבובית, תזבובית, תמיד הוא אומר לה, he always tells her, חוזר ואומר לה, repeats and tells her, מכולן יפייפית. From all of them, like from all the other flies, you have become the most beautiful. Yes, יפה is beautiful, and יפייפית, you're the most beautiful. You've become the most beautiful. You become beautiful. כשהפיל, when the elephant, פיל is elephant, כשהפיל אוהב את הפילה. And this is actually a real pair. פיל and פילה, male elephant and female elephant. And you can see that פיל is short and פילה, the sound of a bit rounder, softer, female sound. תמיד הוא אומר לה, he always tells her, חוזר ואומר לה, repeats and tell her, בואי בואי קלה, בואי בואי קלה. Boy, boy is a come. Kala with kaf, like in the song, is bride. Okay, because she's his bride. She's his female elephant. But it's also funny because kalaim kof is light. Something that is light. Kal, easy and light also. Kal is easy and also light. So it's kind of funny that it kind of plays with the sound of the word. When we read it, it means bride, but when we hear it, we know it's kind of, he's playing with bride and also light, but an elephant is not light, so it's kind of funny in a way. ורק אני מרוב אהבה שותק, and I'm the only one that out of this love, so much love, keeps silent. And he repeats it again and again. Lastly, he says, כשהפסיק אוהב תנקודה, את הנקודה. כשהפסיק, when the comma loves the dot. They're not a pair, obviously, but again, that's how he pairs them. תמיד הוא אומר לה, he always tells her, שהוא פסיק על ידה, שהוא פסיק על ידה, that he is a comma next to her. So what does it mean in English? It's like, okay, doesn't mean anything. In Hebrew, when I say, אני פסיק על ידו, it's kind of a phrase. It means I'm nothing next to him. Like he's great and he did amazing things. And who am I to say anything to them? A lot of times we won't say it about ourselves because we don't want to say I am nothing next to someone else. But let's say if someone criticizes, I don't know, someone else, that it happens a lot. Someone did something amazing, but there's still someone to criticize them. So we'll say, מה הוא מדבר? הוא פסיק על ידו. He is a comma next to him. Means he's a little itsy bitsy thing, right? A comma is a little, itsy bitsy thing and nothing next to other things. So that's kind of what the phrase means. And it's like saying the psik, again, he plays with the phrase and with the words. The psik is nothing next to his friend, the dot, right? His spouse. Again, they're not really spouses, obviously, but you get my drift. So if someone brags or criticizes someone that is, did something amazing, we say, I mean, hu psik, ata psik al yado. Like, you're nothing next to that person. Not a very lovely thing to say, but here in the song, he uses it in a very lovely way and manner. And he finishes off with ורק אני מרוב אהבה שותק, and I'm the only one, right? They're all saying something nice to their spouses, and he's the only one that just keeps silence because he loves so much. He can't even speak. I love this song. I think it's so, so beautiful. So, okay, now that we understood this song and we're going to hear it at the end of this chapter, let's understand female and male through this song. And we already started to see it. So we talked about endings, and we can see it, for instance, with anan and anana. We talked about it, right? So in this case, we have the actual two words, and anana is not really female for a cloud, for anan, but for the purpose of the song and for the purpose of being adorable and cute in the song, he pairs them up, and we can hear the sound-wise, which is more important. So anan is male, anan, short, to the point. And anana, the sound of ah. And again, let's take the real pair that we had, pil, elephant, and pila, the sound of ah. It's like we see it a lot with animals like kelev, dog, and kalba. And I know there's a name for it in English, but a female dog. Or cat, chatul, female, and chatula. So I don't know if in English, I think there's also male and female in English, but I'm not sure. A horse, sus, short for male, and susa, the sound of ah, for the female horse. And at the beginning of the song, he tells her the cloud, I think tells the female cloud, the anana, which is a group of clouds. He tells her, Kama hi Elohit, how divine she is. So if it was the other way around, and the anana would have sang to the anan, the female to the male, she wouldn't use the t. You wouldn't use the Elohit, divine for male. She would take the t and just say Elohi, how divine, how Elohi. Again, Elohi is also godly, but also in Hebrew we use it as divine, something that is divine. It's so Elohi. זה כל כך Elohi. So again, Elohi and Elohit, he uses the female. I want to give you also a rule. So again, you can see it in this song, in other songs, but here it's very clear because we have the male and the female, and it's fun. I want to give you a rule or a tool, maybe a technique to start understanding when you talk about something, if it's a male or female. So I want to kind of explain a rule and then the opposite of it, but let's go step by step and you'll understand, I promise. So when we're talking about adjectives, things that describe something is beautiful, big, small, short, tall, whatever it may be, when we describe something, then I think always, maybe there are exceptions, but I couldn't think of any. When we talk about adjectives, this rule of applies all the time. So let's say I want to say something is beautiful. So yafeh is for male and yafa, the sound of is for female. Or big. So if I want to say something is big in male form, I would say gadol. And I want to use for female, I need to add at the end the sound of So if it's gadol, what do you think might happen there? I want to give you a few seconds to think. Gadol, and then to gadol, I want to add at the end. Gadol, gdola. Okay, the sound of Chazak, strong for male. Chazaka, strong for female. So if we understand that the adjectives that describe things have this rule, when I want to talk about something, let's say a table, shulchan, and yes, in Hebrew, a table is also female and male. So I want to kind of understand or think, do I say, when I want to say, talk about a table, do I refer to the table as male or female? And I'm not sure. And maybe I want to talk about a person and maybe, I'm not sure. Then one of the best ways to go about it is to start describing it, even out loud. I want to say, okay, so the table, shulchan. השולחן יפה or יפה? Maybe I understand it already and maybe I'm not sure. I'm still not sure. I don't know. I truly, they both sound good. Or maybe one, but I'm not sure. And then I'll do another one, השולחן big, okay? השולחן גדול או גדולה? Maybe I'm still not sure. I'll try a few. השולחן חזק או חזקה? Maybe expensive, okay? This table is expensive. I'm not sure. I want to say השולחן יקר או יקרה? And slowly I will start picking it up, okay? השולחן גדול. השולחן יקר. Okay? It's male form. So let's do another one. Let's say I want to ask about כיסא, a chair. Okay, we had a table, now we have a chair. So I want you to ask yourself, is it כיסא גדול או כיסא גדולה? And use them both, כיסא גדול, כיסא גדולה. What sound better to you? Try another one. Is it כיסא לבן, white chair, or כיסא לבנה? How about comfortable? כיסא נוח או כיסא נוחה? What do you think? I want to give you again a few seconds to think and tell me if it's כיסא is male or female. Is it גדול, כיסא גדול, or כיסא גדולה? What do you think? Okay, so כיסא is also male. כיסא גדול, כיסא נוח, כיסא לבן. Now, if you are just starting to learn Hebrew, then none of it will make sense. כיסא גדול, כיסא גדולה, I don't know. I just learned the word כיסא and the word גדול and the word גדולה. So it doesn't even ring a bell, right? It doesn't mean anything. But when you're just starting, female and male is not the most important thing to learn. This is also something that I want to tell you and talk to you about, because when we're just learning a language, we're not going to be perfect in grammar. Definitely not male and female, because that is along the way even harder. So in the beginning, we just want to learn words. We want to be able to speak in different situations. Maybe a bit of small talk, a little bit of vocabulary, introducing myself, buying something, asking direction. I don't know, just simple things. I don't need to run to everything. And sometimes we learn the grammar and we learn the rules and man, we just started to learn the language. It's just too much. And then people, not only that they don't learn anything, they stop, they get frustrated, despaired, and they just stop learning. And I see it all the time. I see people come to me after, I have to tell you, 7 and 10 and 20 years. And it's not because they couldn't learn. It's because it was too overwhelming, too much grammar. They just wanted to be able to speak a little bit, not understand the whole Hebrew language in the academy. Okay? So don't do it. Start off with little simple things. Just scripts that you can learn, starting to even speak, playing with the Hebrew, having fun with it, learning vocabulary in a fun way, listening to songs, just easy going. But when you're more advanced, you've learned Hebrew for a while, and you understand Hebrew. It doesn't have to be that you understand everything, but pretty much, you understand, 40%, 50%, it's already pretty good. And you listen to Hebrew, maybe you listen to songs and podcasts a little bit, or or television shows, series, whatever it may be, then you're already in the environment of Hebrew. And this is where, and people don't talk about ear training, because it sounds like it comes from just music, right? If I want to sing on key, then I have to train my ear and then my vocal. But when we learn a language, first of all, it's like music. It has music, it has rhythm, it has a beat, it has kind of a feel to it. But it's not even that. We put a lot of emphasis into books and different learning materials and grammar and course, and we're like, it's got nothing to do with our ear. But truly, how did we learn our mother tongue? Nobody gave us a book. We started off by listening to things, and slowly the things that we've heard created connections in our brain to things that we see or smell or touch or taste or whatever it is we experience. And then we started to speak, maybe with mistakes, probably, but as we spoke better and better, we could form the words better and better, and then sentences, and then just our whole language that we're so fluid in it, right? In our mother tongue. So the ear matters. Once you hear, and if you want to train your ear for everything, but also for female and male, just listen to a lot of Hebrew. Listen to a lot of Hebrew and tell yourself, with the things that we've learned today, is it female or male? Female or male? And eventually, and I see it with students that are more advanced, intermediate. I'm not talking about super advanced, but intermediate already. When I ask them, describe this object or this thing. Is it gadol, gdola, katan, ktana, namuch, nemucha? Is it female or male? Usually, like 90% of the time, they're right. They're exactly right on the spot, right? That they know it. They say and then tell me, shulchan gadol? And I say, yes. And they know. Yeah, they hear it. Sometimes there are exceptions. Maybe I just want to say windows, okay? Which is chalonot in plural. And I'm not sure how to say it. Is it female or male? It sounds chalonot. The ending of ot is also female. But I'm not exactly sure. Chalonot gdolim or chalonot gdolot. Kind of sounds like that chalonot should be gdolot, but it's not the case. So how can I know? Always go back to singular. Because if I say chalon gadol or chalon gdola, most of the time, most intermediate will know to say, oh, it's chalon gadol. Why chalonot gdolim? There are exceptions. There are a lot of them. But once we get to the singular, it's much easier to understand and to pick it up. And we start to identify if it's male or female as we go along the way. We just have to practice it, right? If you succeeded at the beginning here even, then great. If not, just go and practice it. That's it. Once you watch something, hear something, and put your focus on the female and male a little bit, when you listen, then you'll see a huge improvement. I'm telling you, and it doesn't take forever. It doesn't take even a long time. Just think of what we talked about at the endings. I have to say something before we listen to the song, before I'll sing the song to you. If we talked about adjectives getting an ah or a t for female, the he or the tav at the end, then I have, and that is the rule, I have to kind of say the opposite also when it comes to pronouns, because I see so much confusion. People say, okay, ah is for female, but then I say ata for male. True. So I always say adjectives, ah is for female, and pronouns, exactly the opposite. And that's how you need to remember it. So when I say at, which is shorter, is female, it has t, right? But ata, which we have the sound of ah, is male. And shelach is female, yours, and shilcha is male. And for you or to you is lach for female and lecha for male. So it's exactly the opposite. So just know that it's the opposite. And again, it gets confusing maybe now, maybe for a few days. Once you use it again and again, you will get it. Guarantee. I know it. Yeah, I wrote here that in the song he says, I'm the only one that out of all this love keeps silent. So he says shotek, I shut up or I keep silent. And if it was female, it would be shoteket. We have the t sound. Just like I say medaber and medaberet, right? I speak, I talk. More accurately, I talk for male, medaber, and female, medaberet. Or I eat, ochel for male, and ochelet for female. Or maybe I ask a question. Ani shoel for male, and ani shoelet for female. So yeah, I recommend listening to the song. I'm going to sing it. I'm going to go over there to my piano. I'm going to sing the song for you. And I really invite you and recommend that you go over the lyrics again and maybe listen to parts of this video that you want to, kind of embed in your mind, and also sing along with me. That's the best way. Hear it, to listen, to understand, and then use it and sing along with me. And that's it. I hope you liked this video. And again, it will be great if you can share it and like it. And now let's go to the song.
כשהוא אוהב את ההיא, תמיד הוא אומר לה, חוזר ואומר לה, כמה היא אלוהית, כמה היא אלוהית. כשענן אוהב עננה, תמיד הוא אומר לה, חוזר ואומר לה, כמה את עדינה, את כל כך עדינה, ורק אני מרוב אהבה שותק, רק אני מרוב אהבה שותק, ורק אני מרוב אהבה שותק, רק אני מרוב אהבה שותק. כשהזבוב אוהב את הזבובית, תמיד הוא אומר לה, חוזר ואומר לה, מכולן יפייפית, מכולן יפייפית. כשהפיל אוהב את הפילה, תמיד הוא אומר לה, חוזר ואומר לה, בואי בואי קלה, בואי בואי קלה, ורק אני מרוב אהבה שותק, רק אני מרוב אהבה שותק, ורק אני מרוב אהבה שותק, רק אני מרוב אהבה שותק, מרוב אהבה שותק. כשהפסיק אוהב את הנקודה, תמיד הוא אומר לה, שהוא פסיק על ידה, שהוא פסיק על ידה. שותק.